Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview ahead of tomorrow's Premier League fixture, Everton versus Liverpool, the Merseyside derby, 12:30 kick-off on BT Sport, I believe it is. Our first game back after the international break, and we dive straight in to a Merseyside derby. Quite similar to the last Merseyside derby, which of course was the first game back after the long period of the suspension of football. However, the only difference is this time Everton go in 4 wins out of 4 in the Premier League, 7 out of 7 altogether in all competitions, and Carlo Ancelotti's Blues are top of the table and absolutely flying at the moment, flying. And of course, we're going into a Merseyside derby for the first time in probably my lifetime, to be honest. I've been alive 22 years nearly, the end of this month, and I've supported Everton for the entirety of those 22 years, and this is probably the most confident I've ever been going into a Merseyside derby. Do I still have those horrible Merseyside derby nerves inside me? Absolutely, because I feel like I'll always have them. You know, even if we go on a massive streak of beating them for years years and years, I still have that feeling in my stomach. But I am quietly confident going into this game. You never want to scream and shout about how, unbelievable we are and how, we're going to batter them, we're going to this, we're going to that, because you don't want it to come back and bite you on the arse. But I am confident going into this game. There's no reason as to why Everton can't win this game of football tomorrow. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever. We're top of the table. We're absolutely flying. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's in fantastic form. James Rodriguez is in brilliant form. Alan, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Richarlison, Luca Dean, Michael Keane. Everybody has just been absolutely flying at the moment. And we're coming up against the Liverpool side that, yes, are champions currently, and of course, won the league quite convincingly last season, but so far they've proved this season that they haven't got an air of invincibility. Yes, they're a very good side, a very threatening side, but they're not a side that can't be beaten. They're not invincible. They're not a team that you look at and think, right, okay, these can't be beaten. They absolutely can be beaten. Aston Villa proved it a couple of weeks ago. They absolutely embarrassed them. They exploited their weaknesses and they continue to pressure down those weaknesses. For example, the goalkeeper, defensively they were poor as well, and Aston Villa absolutely made a show of them last week. Now, does that mean that Everton are going to go out and do the same tomorrow? Not necessarily, but what it does mean is that there's no reason as to why Everton can't go out and do the same tomorrow. There's no reason as to why Everton haven't got the quality and the confidence to go out and do the same tomorrow. That's a big word going into this Merseyside derby for me. For the first time in a long time, I'm confident in this Everton team to go out and put a performance in tomorrow and get a result, and I believe the players are confident in themselves as well. I've spoke about the derby a couple of times this week already, and I've said about how, in previous derbies gone by and even previous games against the Big Six or the Sky Big Six or whatever you want to call them, there always seemed like a defeated mentality before the game had even kicked off, whether it be players in the tunnel, whether it be players in the first 5 minutes of a game. You only have to look back to the Spurs game, opening day of the season, and we just looked so calm, we looked so composed, we didn't look affected by the fact that we were playing a side that we hadn't beaten in their stadium for a long time. And I actually think this is how we need to approach tomorrow's Merseyside derby. Look, as fans, of course, myself, everybody watching, we will get into the live comments. If you are enjoying the stream, please do hit that like button. If you're watching live, get your thoughts in the live comments and we'll be getting into those. But of course, as a fan, for me, for you, for anybody watching this, we're going to be nervous. There is going to be that sort of sense of, oh my God, it's a derby and anything can happen, and you don't want to be beaten. But for the players, for me, they need to strip that completely down. Remove that it's a Merseyside derby. Remove the fact that, we're playing a Liverpool team that, won the league last season, and look at it in terms of we're top of the league, we're in very good form. This is a side that are very good, very dangerous, proved it before, but also have proved that they can be beaten, and they can be beaten comfortably as well. And look at it that way. No nerves, no pressure, no nothing like that. Just go into the tunnel with the mindset of, right, we need to go out there and do a job today, and we need to go out there and get a result. And if the players can step onto the pitch with that mentality and with that attitude tomorrow, then I will be quite confident that we can go and get a result. I really will. Carlo Ancelotti spoke about it today. Listen, I love Carlo Ancelotti's press conferences whenever we play sides like Liverpool or the sides that are in good form or genuinely are doing well, because Carlo doesn't bullshit us. He doesn't sit there and say, oh, this shit, they're absolutely awful, then they got beat by Villa, they're crap. He doesn't. He comes out and says they're one of the most dangerous teams in world football. They're very good on the attack, but what we have to do is keep our head, keep our concentration, focus on the task at hand, and go out and get the result with in a confident manner. And that's the truth. As much as we all want to sit here and go, wait, he got battered battered by Villa, so that means that, you know, we shouldn't have a problem because we're beating teams left, right and centre. That isn't football for a start, and it's certainly not Merseyside derbies. So the fact that we've got a manager now, not only with all of the qualities and the you know, the CV that Carlo Ancelotti has, but we've actually got a manager that sits there and goes, no, these are still a good team that could be, you know, could turn around and beat us on the day of winning on our game, and we need to be on our game tomorrow. Every single player has to be 110%. And I suppose the biggest bit of news, the first point I've actually got written down in my little notes here, is that everybody is fit. That was the only thing. I was actually, you know, usually a couple of days before the Merseyside derby, I get these horrible nerves and I get this horrible feeling in my stomach, and I have had that for the last couple of days. But for some mad reason, this is the first time this has ever happened. But today, leading up to Carlo Ancelotti's pre-game press conference to tomorrow's game, I actually had the same sort of nerves. I was just absolutely flapping listening to Carlo's press conference, because I just could not have imagined them coming out and saying, yeah, James isn't, you know, fit, Richarlison hasn't come back fit, Luca Dean's injured, Yerry Mina's injured. It was just that sort of pressure that we could have been going into this game with a weakened side due to the international break. Carlo did come out today and say that everybody is fit, everybody is returned from the international break, and everybody is ready to go, including Yerry Mina. He said he trained yesterday and he's fit for the game. He spoke about Luca Dean and said that includes him as well. He did mention that there could potentially be fitness issues with the likes of James Rodriguez or Richarlison, but ultimately we're not going to know that until the game is being played and until, you know, it's 60, 70 minutes into the game to see if they can compete for the 90. But one thing he said was, you know, neither of those players, or any player in fact, coming home from international duty is injured. They're all ready to start. They're all injury free. And like I said, the fitness issues are just something that we may have to deal with as and when it comes up. But that's the sort of biggest bit of news and information I think that every single Evertonian was looking out for from Carlo Ancelotti today. He was just hoping that everybody was fit and that we could go into this game with a strong side. And you know, obviously, Carlo Ancelotti didn't have everybody fit last time out when we played Brighton. You know, Alan picked up an injury midway through that game. Obviously, Seamus Coleman picked up an injury. You had Andre Gomez, who was out of that game. So the likes of Tom Davies, Gylfi Sigurdsson, they stepped up and they stepped in and they done a really good job. So Carlo's got a decision to make in regards to the first team tomorrow. Does he go with the first team that had played obviously all of the games prior to the Brighton game in regards to Andre Gomez in the middle of the park with Seamus at right back, or does he maybe give somebody like a Gylfi Sigurdsson that opportunity who's done well whenever he's come in? It's a big decision for Carlo Ancelotti to make ultimately, and it's a big decision that he'll have to make before tomorrow. But look, like I said, trying to strip myself away from the derby nerves and all of that sort of stuff, this is the most confident I've been going into a Merseyside derby for a long time, because this is the best Everton side I've seen going into a Merseyside derby. Not only the best Everton team in regards to form, but it's the most structured Everton team. It's the most well worked. We're like, don't want to say we're a complete machine at the moment, because obviously it's a little bit too early to say that, but we're a very well-oiled machine. We've had good players in the past, really good players, but at times they've looked like they just didn't really, you know, link together. They didn't really work together. Other times they look brilliant, but at certain times they look like they didn't really work. This is the first time in a long time where we've had a side that just looks like they completely work together. I talk about it every time I talk about Everton Football Club. I talk about the impact of Abdoulaye Doucouré and James Rodriguez and Alan, and how they come into this Everton team, and within literally less than a week of all three of those players signing their contract as an Everton player, they hadn't even been in the club for a week, and they all played against Spurs, and they would look like they've been playing for Everton for about 15 years. It was just so easy. It was nice passages of play. They were playing between each other. They were coming. They were collecting it. They were moving off players. Dom and Richarlison were moving off James Rodriguez as if he'd been there for about 3 years when he'd literally only met them 4 days before. There was no settling in period. It didn't take that, and that's what happens when you bring in quality players, and that's what we needed this season. And this is a big test for us. This is a massive test. We've had a lot of football fans. I don't know if anybody, you know, I don't tend to listen to what anybody else has to say about Everton Football Club unless they support Everton Football Club. So when you hear other fans, Man United fans, Chelsea fans, Tottenham fans, whatever, talk about Everton, I'm sort of sitting there anyway, personally thinking, you know, you've got nothing to do with us. Basically, just shut up, or I'm not listening to what you're saying. But we've had a lot of fans so far this season talk about Everton and say, yeah, they're in good form, but who have they played? They don't mention that we played the Spurs team that are in very good form at the moment, and we absolutely battered them at their ground. They don't mention that we played the Palace team that beat Manchester United comfortably, or a Brighton team that should have beat Manchester United comfortably. This is a massive, massive opportunity for Everton to go out tomorrow. And like I said, strip away the Merseyside derby, strip away the local rivalry and all that comes with it. I'll talk a little bit later on in the stream about how we have to use that as well, because I think it's going to be a physical game. I think there's going to be a lot of kicking, and I do think the players need to know how much this means. But move that to a side for the moment. We're playing a side that won the Premier League quite convincingly last season. In fact, they won it very, very convincingly. If we can go out and beat them tomorrow and make it 5 wins out of 5 and remain top of the Premier League by 6 points, and then look back and go, well, we've beaten all of those teams that people said, yeah, but they're not really that great, are they? And we've beaten the side that are top of the that won the league last season, comfortably. And, we've gone out and we've beat them. So, again, at that point, you're looking and you're thinking, on our day, we can literally beat anybody. But this is a big, big opportunity for us to go out and prove that tomorrow. And look, is it going to be a difficult game? Of course it is. Do I expect a 7-2 win, like, their last defeat against Aston Villa? No, because it's a Merseyside derby, and I'd never expect that. But ultimately, do I think that Everton have got more than enough to go out there and win this game of football tomorrow? Yes, I do. Am I confident that we could go out there and win this game of football tomorrow? Yes, I 100% am. We've got a manager for the first time in a long time who knows how to win these big games, who knows how to set a team up, who knows how to change a team in-game if it's not working. Marco Silva didn't have the tools to be able to go out and beat a Liverpool side that were flying at the time. Roberto Martinez, as much as I like him, he didn't have the tools. He wasn't experienced enough. Ronald Koeman, nowhere near good enough. Even David Moyes, who got some good results against Manchester United and was a fantastic manager for Everton. We have never had a manager of the calibre of Carlo Ancelotti, who has been and won Champions League finals, and on the other hand, he's lost Champions League finals as well. He knows what it's like to lose. He knows what it's like to win. He knows what it's like to be in these big games. Carlo Ancelotti, famously, you might think it's famously, but I think it's famously now. Carlo Ancelotti come out after the Newcastle defeat, the Newcastle draw, and we conceded their 2 goals in the last 2 minutes, and he was asked multiple questions about the team's mentality and this, that, the other, and he was asked about, is this a shock for you? You don't usually see this, and he said no. He said, I've been 3-0 up in Champions League finals. I've been 3-0 up in massive derbies before, and I haven't won them. That's just football. And that's the type of calm and attitude that we need, and that's the type of attitude that has shown that's rubbing off on the players, and that mentality of, let's just go in there, play our football, do what we do, and go and get the win, and bringing in that extra quality in James Rodriguez and Richarlison and Abdoulaye Doucouré and Allen, and having the quality already in the team of Richarlison and Luca Dean and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is just proven to be, to work massively this season, and that's why we're in very, very good form. And look, I want to continue this form tomorrow. As much as if we beat them, as much as I'll be sitting there at 3 o'clock absolutely made up, messaging all my mates to rub it in and rub how brilliant we are, and as much as that'll be fantastic and that'll be brilliant, ultimately tomorrow night, if we win that game of football, I'll sit back and underneath the whole, we've beat Liverpool and we've done this, we've done that, I'll go, well, hang on, we've won 5 games out of 5. We'll play Liverpool, Tottenham, Brighton, Palace and West Brom, and we've won all 5 on the top of the league if we win tomorrow. You literally cannot complain whatsoever. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Do they have threatening players? Yes. Will they put a much stronger team out than the one that played against Aston Villa? Yes, because they've got the likes of Mane back, they've got the likes of Thiago, they've got Henderson back, they've got a lot of their star players back, if you like, that come on and hurt teams for them. But they've still got a liability in goal in Adrian, who's proven that if you put pressure on him and if you stick a man on him, he will flap. They'll probably still have Trent Alexander-Arnold in a fullback, who for me is really, really poor defensively. So the key to Everton winning this game of football tomorrow is ultimately ensuring that they don't mark James Rodriguez out the game. I actually have said it before. Like I said, I've spoke about the derby a couple of times so far this week, and I've said I honestly really do think, just got a bit of breaking news there, Callum Connolly has joined Fleetwood on loan for the remainder of the 2020-2021 season. There you go. No incomings. A lot of people talking about Josh King in the comments, but I don't think Josh King was ever a situation. Where was I? A lot of people, talking about, the derby, and obviously I've completely lost my trail of thought there. Everton going into the game and being in such great form. But for me, listen, like I said, I've spoke about this game multiple times over the last few days or so. I would not be surprised if Jurgen Klopp Jurgen Klopp's team talk is very much go in and kick them to bits, because you know they've got the quality, you know they've got the ability, and they now know that we can be punished and we can be hurt defensively, so just go and make it physical for them. And that's when reminding the players of how important this game is and how physical this game is going to be, that's when it comes into play. And Carlo said today, look, you know, he was asked a question in his press conference about if Seamus Coleman had a word with any of the players about the importance of this game and how much it means, and Carlo said he doesn't need to have a word, he doesn't need to pull anybody aside and tell them how important these games are. You know, the players we've brought in have all played it in big competitive games, derbies. You know, James Rodriguez has played in the the Real Madrid and Barcelona, El Clasico multiple times. He's played for Bayern Munich against Borussia Dortmund. He's played for Colombia in some of their fierce derbies, as has Richarlison. They don't need telling about these games. They know what they need to go in and they know what they need to do. But the way we attack this game tomorrow, for me, is exactly that. We attack this game. We don't play to their strengths. We don't give them what they want. We don't sit back and say, right, okay, we might try and hit them on the counter-attack, because that'll probably work in their favour. We go at them, and we go at them as if to say, we've just watched you be absolutely embarrassed 7-2. Nobody's saying it's going to be the same scoreline, but we're fucking getting at you. We're getting down your throats. We're attacking you. We're putting you on your toes. We're breaking forward. We're pushing you. We're pushing you to your absolute limit, exactly like Aston Villa done last time out before the international break. And if we can allow James Rodriguez that time on the ball, I think he could have an absolute field day tomorrow. If we can give Richarlison the ball down that left-hand side and say, you just continue to run that left-hand side and run Trent Alexander-Arnold into the ground, I think he could have a field day. And for me, you put Dominic Calvert-Lewin on Adrian and you say every ball that comes into the box, you jump up, you put pressure on him, you make sure that he doesn't get one easy save, you make sure that those centre-halves are panicking and they're having to pass it back to him, or they're having to make rash decisions. Constant pressure, constant getting in their faces. Don't sit back and allow them all the ball and let them come onto us and try and defend it. We shouldn't be playing in a defensive way tomorrow, or a defensive style. And again, I don't want to be the fan that sits here and tells three-time Champions League winner Carlo Ancelotti how to approach a Merseyside derby, because I'm not. I've got no experience, and I'm obviously I'm not even in the same planet as Carlo Ancelotti in that regard. But for me, we have to attack this game. We have to be confident, and we have to go out and our mentality should be, yes, okay, they're a team that are very, very good. They've got a lot of quality. They can hurt us, but we can hurt them equally as much. We can get at them. If we put 2 or 3 past them early on, their heads will probably drop again like the Aston Villa game. They've got a lot to prove tomorrow, a lot to prove. Not only because they're leading champions, but they've just been utterly embarrassed in the biggest defeat, I think, that any Premier League holding team has ever suffered since the Premier League begun. They've just been ripped to bits, and it could have been 8, 9 or 10 for Aston Villa last time out. They've got a lot to prove. They're going to want to come out and fight, and that's why I don't sort of play into this, oh, well, he got battered 7-2, so it's going to be dead easy, because at the moment they're a team backed up against the wall who have got to show a reaction, but we're a team who are right on top, who have to be able to show that we can beat teams like Liverpool. Like I said, Merseyside derby as well, in terms of the mentality, there's the massive change in mentality that a victory would mean tomorrow, but also in terms of looking at this game, like I said, without even thinking about the derby, looking at it going, we've just beaten the team that comfortably won the league last season and we're still top of the league. It's those type of wins that you need. It's big wins in big games that you need. We need to be able to go out and show that we can put performances in and get the wins in these type of games. We've showed it against Tottenham Hotspur opening game of the season. We showed that we could go away to a side that we don't notoriously do well to and beat them comfortably. We need to show it again tomorrow, and I am confident that we can do that. I will go into my predicted starting 11 in a moment. If you're not enjoying the live stream, by the way, so far, please do hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Only takes a second. I believe we are around 50 subscribers away from 3,000, so if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean a great deal. There you go. Emanera says wounded animals are extremely dangerous. Exactly, and that's why we shouldn't be underestimating Liverpool. And Carlo Ancelotti isn't underestimating. Listen, fans, we as fans can say whatever we want, because ultimately, if you're sitting there now saying we'll beat them 6-0 and then we go out and beat them 5-0 tomorrow, then you're going to be absolutely made up. But Carlo Ancelotti knows that you can't underestimate this Liverpool team. Carlo Ancelotti knows that we can't be messing around, and that's what's given me the most confidence. Is I'm not sitting here looking at an Everton team that have won 4 out of 4, but you're sitting there going, yeah, but we haven't really been challenged, or we haven't really had it, we've had it smooth. I'm looking at an Everton team going, we've won 4 games out of 4 in the Premier League because we've got a world-class manager and we've brought in world-class players. And I've said it a couple of times. I said it to my mum on the way home from work today. If Everton lose tomorrow, we've beat ourselves. we've absolutely beat ourselves, because we can win this game. We can actually go out and win this game tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did. But however, I would be massively relieved just because of that Merseyside derby burden. Anyway, let's get into the live comments. Like I said, I will go through my predicted starting 11 in just a second. Bear with me 2 seconds. Eugene says, Saha hoping to see more Everton passion in Merseyside derby. James says, hi Cam, you're part of Toffee TV now. Well done, mate. Can't wait for tomorrow. I think everyone is back and fit, so really good news. Yeah, I've done a few videos for Toffee TV over the last couple of days. Massive thanks to Baz and Ped for letting me come on and obviously talk on the channel and talk about the youth teams and the upcoming Merseyside derby and stuff. Really do appreciate everybody at Toffee TV for allowing me to do that. But yeah, everybody is fit. Carlo's come out and said in his pre-game press conference today that there's no injury issues, of course, other than the ones that we currently know about, John Joe Kenny and Jean-Philippe Gbamin, etc. Which is fantastic news. Like I said, I am massively nervous at the moment, but it's safe to say that at 12 o'clock this afternoon, I was about 3 times as nervous as I am now, because I just thought that we'd have 3 or 4 players either out or not ready to start tomorrow. But Carlo said that everybody's there and everybody's ready to play, and I suppose fitness-wise and whether or not players will be fit enough to do 90 minutes, we'll just have to wait and see for that one. Everton Botch said, lad, looks like we didn't get anyone, and no one left. Well, yeah, other than Callum Connolly, who's left to go on loan to Fleetwood. Yeah, I honestly, to be honest, the domestic transfer, for anybody that's wondering what's going on, the domestic transfer window, which allowed Premier League clubs to deal with EFL clubs, has literally just slammed shut half an hour ago. I didn't expect Everton to sign anyone. I know there was a rumour around Josh King, but I never expected that to happen, to be honest. Everton Botches said Ellis Sims should take his opportunities. If he's given them, he should. James says Saha doesn't even like Everton, always slagging us off on telly. He also says I might listen to it on TalkSport, as I ain't got BT commentary as well. I ain't got BT, better commentary as well. Up the fucking toffees, I can't wait, mate. Gord says waking up at 6 a.m. to watch the Blues put in a great performance. Let's hope so, mate. Phillips says hi, Gord's good man. Big Nozzle says 3-1s to the Blues. No worries, no problem. We hope we have honest officials. That's my only worry. Well, the referee has been announced. It was announced last week. It is Michael Oliver will referee the Merseyside derby tomorrow, with David Cotty doing the VAR. So there you go. We're going to talk more about them in the weekly news roundup video that'll be going up just after this live stream. Gord says, do we know who's starting in goal for Liverpool? It's Adrian, I believe. I think Alisson is still out injured. Julio says Cruzeiro Esporte Clube. Philip says, let's hope we stamp our authority early doors, take no shit off them. Spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. Don't give them the respect. I understand Carlo Ancelotti talks about having a lot of respect for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool and how well they're doing at the moment, but it's important that we don't give those 11 players that are wearing a red shirt tomorrow the respect. Carlo Ancelotti can have as much respect as he wants, and that's why I've got no issue with him talking about how friendly he is with Jurgen Klopp. He can be as friendly as any, and he can invite him round for tea tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I care, as long as we go out and win that game of football tomorrow. In fact, if we do go out and win that game of football, invite Jurgen round, say you'll get a bottle of wine, say you'll get a nice granny, and I guarantee he won't turn up, because he's bitter. He's more bitter than anything I've ever seen in my life. But like I said, you're spot on. We shouldn't be giving them respect, certainly not on the pitch. James says, I'm same as you, Cam. I'm confident, but always them derby nerve, but buzzing for it, mate. Just to see us play, been a long time coming up the fucking toffees. Looking forward towards a derby. He also says I've been sick twice this week. I know what you mean, mate. Be a lot worse tonight, but I'm not dreading it with the Carlo. We had a different animal. Exactly. I think a lot of the nerves and the dread that a lot of Evertonians are feeling are just because it's a Merseyside derby, and because if our record hasn't been great recently, and obviously some of the results and performances we've seen over the years. But like I said, if for example, if Tom Davies had buried that chance in which he hit the post, in, when was it, June, July, when we played them just off the back of the lockdown, if Tom Davies had buried that chance and we win that game 1-0, there's not really a massive nerve discussion, because we've got over that then. We've got over that mental block, and we're then playing a Liverpool team that we've beaten already in the last 6 months, and we're in fantastic form. But it's because of that, that lack of win in recent times, that I feel like we have got all of the nerves, and that's all right. Like I said, I'm a fan. Everybody watching live is a fan. Everybody watching the YouTube comments, we're all fans of Everton Football Club, and ultimately we're all going to be nervous or have the same sort of sickly feeling in our stomach tomorrow. That's sound and that's expected. It's important that Carlo Ancelotti, James Rodriguez, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Alan, Luca Dean, Richarlison, Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, Jordan Pickford, Seamus Coleman, Andre Gomez. It's an absolute imperative that none of those players have that feeling, and their feeling is, it's another game of footy here, lads. We're playing a good team, but a team that can be beaten. Let's go out and do our job. Philip says, I have BT Sport, but not sure I can bear to watch. Extremely nervous here, and I'm nearly 60 now. There you go. If you're not enjoying, by the way, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe as well. Share the live stream out. Let's try and get as many people in here as possible. I'd greatly appreciate if you could share it on social media, Twitter and stuff. James says, Carlo has balanced our team and added class to it. The Don. All praise has to go to him. Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Andrew says, Everton 3-1. James, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin and Mane. I'd take that. Toothy Orifice says 5-2 to the Blues. Philip says if we win tomorrow and go 6 points clear, that's title form. Exactly. And I don't want to get too much into the it's ours to lose at that point, because obviously we haven't played yet, and like I said, it's a big game, not only because it's a derby, but because we're playing a very good team. But I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. Toothy says Klopp's scared of Carlo. Now, what Klopp's doing, I was on the way. Obviously, I didn't watch Jurgen Klopp's pre-game press conference because I couldn't care what he says or how he feels. I watched Carlo's, and Carlo's very respectful towards Jurgen Klopp, and that's fine. And he speaks about how close friends they are. He didn't really talk too much on Liverpool at the moment. He said they're a very good team. They won the league last season. They're one of the best teams in Europe. That he's saying that off facts. He's saying that because they won the Premier League comfortably, and he's also saying that because they won the Champions League the season before. He spoke about how close friends he is with Jurgen Klopp. Again, no bother. Jurgen Klopp's press conference, a clip of his press conference come up on the radio before on the way home from work, and of course I just caught it because I was in the car and the radio was on, and he was talking about how Everton could be the next title challengers and could be the only team that challenged Liverpool this season. And as much as you listen to that and think, oh yeah, you know, he believes that as well, don't fall into the Jurgen Klopp bullshit trap of what he says. What he's doing there basically is lining it up to that if they lose tomorrow, we can go, well, hang on, I said yesterday that they're the next best team to us. They're the team that are going to challenge us. So, you know, you can't really come at me because they're in fantastic form, blah, blah, blah. Or he's setting it up for if they win, which touch wood they don't, if they win to go, yeah, well, look at that, we've just beat the team that, you know, we're next in line to us, or we're the only team that are challenging us. It's all mind games from Jurgen Klopp. He knows exactly what he's doing, which is why I'm not his biggest fan, to be honest with you. James says, I'm 34, so excited for this one, boys. We are so calm now. Unreal what Carlo has done, really. It certainly is, mate. Philip says, I love Mr. Ancelotti. It's a dream having him in charge. It certainly is. Where he asks, he says, Cam, now that how's everybody? I'm not too bad, mate. He also asked if we signed Josh King yet. We haven't, and I don't think we would have signed him either, to be honest with you, mate. I'm not surprised by the lack of signing Josh King. We'll do a couple more then, and then we'll get into my predicted starting 11. Philip says, King's been whining that no one comes in for him. His attitude sucks. He also says, hey, Wavy. And James says, I always loved Moyes, but Carlo was took us to another level to Moyes' days. But what a legend Carlo is. So glad he came in. Exactly. He's taken us to that level of being able to look at Everton Football Club and say, you are a genuine challenger for European football. You're a genuine challenger for the top 4 or the top 6 or whatever you want to say. And that's not just me looking at Everton Football Club and thinking, oh, that's genuine because we're in good form or we've won the first 2, you know, won the first 4 games of the season. That's me looking at Everton Football Club and going, you know what? This team are playing like a team. They're playing like mates. They're playing like they know where they need to be and when they need to be there. Anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11 then. No major changes from me. I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Look, I know there's a lot of Evertonians out there that'll be wanting to see Olsen starting in his first game for Everton Football Club tomorrow. Robin Olsen obviously coming on transfer deadline day last week. Do I think he'll start? No. I really don't. He hasn't spent a lot of time with the boys. I think he's only been at the football club since either today or yesterday will have been his first day, of course, because he was on international duty with Sweden. I think Carlo Ancelotti has put a lot of trust and faith into Jordan Pickford this season, and I think that trust and faith will continue. By the way, I don't see him dropping him. Obviously, he played in a couple of England's games over the international break. I didn't really catch them, but from what I've heard, he wasn't at fault for any of the goals that England conceded, and he couldn't really do much about them. I think one was a penalty. But I just think Carlo Ancelotti goes with Jordan Pickford tomorrow. I really do. I know Robin Olsen's being brought in to provide competition and to potentially come in if need be, but I just don't see that being tomorrow. Back line, I've gone for Luca Dean, Michael Keane, Yerry Mina and Seamus Coleman. Same back line, of course, that played against Brighton. Obviously, we know Seamus Coleman went off with an injury, but he is fit. And we know that Yerry Mina picked up a slight knock on international duty, but he has returned and is fit. From left to right then, Luca Dean. Look, I was absolutely flapping myself at the mere thought that Luca Dean could be unavailable for this game tomorrow, and that isn't because I don't necessarily trust Niles Nkunku. That isn't because I don't think Niles Nkunku could step in and do a job. Look, I've been massively impressed with Niles Nkunku since he's come into Everton Football Club. To say that this lad come in with the view of going into the under-23s and being a player that, you know, played in there for a couple of years and then maybe pushed up to the first team, to say that he's been given that boost into the first team and he's done as well as he has is just absolutely unbelievable. But I just understand how much we'd miss if Luca Dean wasn't available for this game. He brings so much. Not only a cool, calm head defensively, but creative-wise, going forward, he's absolutely fantastic. He's constantly creating opportunities. He's constantly putting balls into the box. He's constantly getting involved. He's just a top footballer. So for me, it was imperative that he was fit, and it's imperative that he starts. I've gone for Yerry Mina and Michael Keane at centre-half. Michael Keane's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant this season. Can't fault him. Literally cannot pick a game where you can fault Michael Keane this season. I really can't. Before we get into talking about that, M. Herrera has donated $10 to the live stream. Thank you so much. Honestly, that means so much to me. It really does. I massively appreciate the support. He says, Cam the man, go Blues. Thank you very much, mate. Honestly, that means so much. Really do appreciate the support. Up the Blues indeed. Cheers, M. I still haven't, because it's M. Herrera, I assume your first name begins with M, and I still don't know it. So if you could leave it in the comments, it'd be great, so I can start calling you by your first name rather than an initial. But yeah, like I said, back onto it. Michael Keane's been unbelievable this season. Absolutely unbelievable. Can't fault him. Signed a new 5-year contract. I think it was a new 5-year contract. Signed a new contract anyway in the summer. And it's been unbelievable since. Yerry Mina next to him, fantastic game against Brighton. Got called out a little bit by Carlo Ancelotti for his mistakes in the previous game. Certainly the game against West Brom, where he should have done better for both of their goals, and he come out after it and he's put in, you know, a fantastic performance, and I mean the performance of his lifetime. I think that was the best performance we've seen from Yerry Mina in an Everton shirt. I really do. And hopefully now he'll be looking at the bench and seeing obviously Ben Godfrey's come in and he is providing a bit of competition, and then of course you've got Mason Holgate, who hopefully will soon be coming back, and then Jared Branthwaite. So hopefully Yerry Mina's looking now onto the bench and thinking, I've got some real competition here, so I need to keep up my performances. I need to keep playing my absolute heart out. And to be fair to him, he played his absolute heart out against Brighton a couple of weeks ago before the international break. He was my man of the match, to be honest with you. He was absolutely fantastic. So I've gone with a partnership of Yerry Mina and Michael Keane at centre-back, and then Seamus Coleman at right-back again. Picked up a little injury, you know, in the Brighton game. I've sort of had this argument with myself over the last couple of days or so, is, has the international break been a positive or a negative for Everton? And on one hand I look at it and think, well, it could have been a negative because we were in such good form, we had so much momentum, we had so much confidence, and that's just sort of been broken up by the internationals. But on another hand I look at it and think, well, if the Merseyside derby would have been played last week, the week after the game against Brighton, we wouldn't have had Alan available, we wouldn't have had Seamus Coleman, we wouldn't have had John Joe Kenny either, so it would have been a makeshift right back. We wouldn't have had did I mention Andre Gomez? I think I mentioned Andre Gomez. We basically would have had 3 or 4 key players out injured, whereas now obviously with the international break and the time that those players with injuries have had to recover, it means we can hopefully put out a full strength squad tomorrow. So again, I'm sort of torn between it, but that is my back 4 and goalkeeper. Midfield, I've gone for Abdoulaye Doucouré, Andre Gomez and Alan in there. For me, it's the typical case of, if it's not broke, don't fix it, and this midfield isn't broke. I know Gylfi Sigurdsson stepped in against Brighton and done a fantastic job, obviously, in the absence of Andre Gomez and his injury, and I get that. But I just think that Andre Gomez may work a little bit better with Abdoulaye Doucouré and Alan. And to be fair, I've seen a lot of people criticise Gomez this season, and as much as I understand it and I look and think he hasn't done an awful lot, I also don't think he's done an awful lot wrong, to be honest with you. He's played well on the ball. He's got forward a little bit. He's got himself involved at the odd time here and there as well. But it could be Gomez, it could be Sigurdsson. Obviously, Gomez had a little bit of an injury scare in the international break as well for Portugal. The other two are very, very self-explanatory. Abdoulaye Doucouré, absolutely unbelievable since coming into Everton. Another player who could have quite easily picked up the man of the match award for his performance against Brighton. He was unbelievable. He was absolutely brilliant. Alan, of course, in there as well. Hang on. Computer's decided to have a little freeze there. There you go. We're back on. Alan as well, again, like I said, absolutely unbelievable since coming into Everton Football Club. He's been a complete breath of fresh air. Him and Doucouré in that midfield, of course, with James playing on the wing. The three of them have just been a revelation, an absolute revelation for Everton Football Club. And like I said, for me, if the three are fit and ready to go, which according to Carlo Ancelotti they are, I think those are the three that start in midfield. You could make a case for Gylfi Sigurdsson instead of Gomez, but I just think Carlo would start with the three that he's played consistently so far this season, and that of course is Gomez, Doucouré and Allen, and Doucouré and Allen are very, very self-explanatory. And then a front three of Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and James Rodriguez, again, very, very self-explanatory. Richarlison, good international break, scored for Brazil, so that'll give him a load of confidence as well. James Rodriguez, look, do I have to really sit here and explain my choice for putting James Rodriguez in there? No, he's created more chances than any other player in the Premier League so far this season. He has been absolutely unbelievable, imperative to our attacking play, imperative to our form, imperative to Dominic Calvert-Lewin's form and Richarlison's form as well. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely unbelievable. Richarlison, of course, on the other side, like I mentioned, good couple of international games, got his goal as well. And then, of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, scoring on his debut for England, wearing the number 9 shirt. He'll be coming into this game with a lot of pride, a lot of confidence, and his head massively held high. And I honestly look at that Everton team and I think, okay, Liverpool will probably put a strong team out tomorrow. They'll probably have the likes of Mane back, Thiago back, maybe Henderson back. But I look at that Everton team and think there is no reason as to why we shouldn't win that game of football. There's just no reason as to why we can't go out there and win that game of football tomorrow. Will it be difficult? Absolutely. Like I said, for me, it's massively important that we don't play to their strengths. We play to our strengths. We go out there, we control the game, we control the midfield, we win that midfield battle, and we exploit their weaknesses. Like Aston Villa exploited their weaknesses massively, being the right-hand side defensively and the goalkeeper. And if we can go out and do that, then I think we've got a massive opportunity to win this game, and what a big win that would be. Lavovich says, missed the introduction, is Dean actually fit? Yeah, Carlo Ancelotti confirmed today that everybody returning from international duty is fit, and any little injuries they were just little injuries. Let's get back into the comments then. Philip says, Klopp, let's kick them out of the park. Alan, hold my beer. Scott says, I just think he could play a dirty game tomorrow, Klopp. I just think he'd look at it and go, look, this Liverpool team have... Chris is a Liverpool fan, but, he's a sound lad, so let's keep it PG in the comments. He says this is the strongest Everton team Everton have had in years. I agree. Yeah, exactly. I just think he could play the dirty game. Scott says, let them mark James out the game. It gives Dean and Richie plenty of room. Exactly. As long as James Rodriguez has got 2 or 3 Liverpool players around him, then the creativity of Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Luca Dean will just shine through. So, but hopefully James can obviously shine through as well. Emirates says, Cam, thank you very much. Eugene says, Ancelotti's derby message to the players. Daniel D says, exactly, we need to push the gobshite. James and Dean long balls will be very important tomorrow. I agree. James says, Mane in Coleman's pocket again tomorrow. Let's hope so. Tuthi says, I could potentially see Coleman being man of the match. So could I, mate. So could I. Wimmy says, it's going to be fun tomorrow. There's going to be goals. Hopefully we can get more. I hope so, mate. I hope so. Apparently a DCL at 45-1. Not a bad bet that, in the form DCL's on and the confidence that Dominic Calvert-Lewin's got. That's not a bad bet whatsoever. Toothy says, I think we'll see Godfrey tomorrow. I think potentially off the bench maybe for the last 15-20 minutes of the game to come on and freshen it up a little bit and maybe give a Michael Keane or a Yerry Mina a rest, but I don't think we'll see him from the start. James says, Richie and Don will love it. They with the high line of Liverpool, soak it up, hit them on the counter. Yeah, potentially. Wims is dangerous, but also really killable, spot on. The Dugout Football Channel says, funny how this game falls on the 17th of October 2020. 10 years ago, you won 2-0. Will be an interesting game. I'm not sure about backliners' confidence in Adrian. I have butterflies watching Adrian exactly 10 years from the date. Which is really interesting. Jake says, do you think our players are fit enough after the international break? Well, we'll see, won't we, mate? We'll see, hopefully. But on the flip side of that, you could say, do I think that Liverpool's players will be as fit coming off the back of their international break? Again, it works for both ways, doesn't it? James says, I'm sure Carlo wouldn't risk players, mate. I agree. Toothy says, I'll stay. Thank you very much, Toothy. Really appreciate that. If you're all enjoying, by the way, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Share the stream out. Let's get as many people in here as possible. James Klopp is well bitter. Well done, mate. I agree. Spot on. Emma says, new Everton fan, what are some Derby Day traditions? Do you guys eat or drink anything specific? I just tend to be absolutely shitting myself until the game's over, to be honest. That's my literal only tradition, is I'm just absolutely flapping it until the game's done with. I don't really have traditions really when watching Everton or even when going to match. Obviously the tradition would usually be to get down to Goodison Park and make it an absolute lion's den for them and make it horrible for them. That is the tradition, usually. But of course, that can't be the case now because of the current situation in the world. So for me, it's probably just going to be get up, sit on the couch and watch the game, to be honest with you. And again, I don't know, might have a cup of tea as well. But then again, said cup of tea could be launched if something happens in the game. So we don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Toothy says, I honestly wouldn't mind us going down in the first half as long as we come back and win. Our players would have that extra bit of confidence compared to a win where we don't have to crawl back. Look, I can't say I'd be happy to see us go down, to be honest with you, mate. But to go down a goal, but as long as we win the game of football, you could literally say to me, listen, you could put two situations in front of me now and say, Everton wins 6-0 tomorrow, you're absolutely battered them. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores an hat-trick, James gets 6 assists, Richarlison gets on the score sheet, everyone loves it. Or you could say Everton win 1-0 in the last 30 seconds and it comes off the arse of Virgil van Dijk. I would literally take either of those scenarios. Obviously, I'd rather us batter them, but as long as we win that game of football tomorrow, I don't care how we win it. I don't care if it comes off, like I said, somebody's arse and goes in the last 2 seconds. I don't care if Jordan Pickford lashes one up and it goes straight in. I don't care if Dominic Calvert-Lewin hits it and it takes 25 deflections and then goes through Adrian's legs. As long as we win that game of football tomorrow, I honestly don't care which way that we win it. Where are we then? James just gives me goosebumps. Could we go 6 points ahead? Effing awesome. We could do, mate, but we'll have to wait and see. Slim Reaper says, alright, lad, great game tomorrow, mate. Can't wait for it. See how good this Everton side really are. Best of luck to your boys for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. Be an interesting one. It certainly will. Philip says, a big tradition, mate, is we all meet up and throw up at Goodison Road. Toothy says, I'll be waking up at 6 a.m. to watch the game. Don't judge me if I have a beer or two, mate. It's 5 o'clock somewhere at 6 a.m. and trust me, if Everton beat Liverpool tomorrow, the beers will be getting cracked open in our house, mate. I promise you. I absolutely promise you. We've had another donation, £4.99 from the Dugout Football Channel. Thank you very, very much for that, mate. Honestly, I really, really do appreciate that. He says, thank you very much for taking your time out to do the opposition preview with me. I am not confident at all we'll take a draw. You're a top guy. No worries at all, mate. If you haven't checked out the Dugout's preview to the Merseyside derby, it is from a Liverpool's perspective, but he's a dead sound lad. Go and check that out. I am over there doing a little bit of an oppositional preview as well, so you can hear a couple of my thoughts on the game. So definitely check him out. Big thanks, Doug. Really appreciate that donation, mate. Honestly, it means a lot. Where are we then before we finish up? Mac F says, living in Barcelona, it's nice to tell people that I'm an Everton fan and for them to go, who? It'll be a tight game tomorrow, big test for DCL, but the lad is oozing confidence. Come on, you Blues. KAGS. Spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. It is. I don't think you'll find many people that'll say who when you say I'm an Everton fan if we go out and beat them tomorrow, which is fantastic. Dugout says, smash the like button for Cameron and subscribe if you're new. Thank you very much. Adam Ski, what's happening, mate? He says, alright, boys. Mac F says, my arse is already going, by the way. Whamy's going for 4-3. Big Nozzer says, just think we would have been now if we'd appointed Carlo 5-6 years ago. Silverware, domestic and European with our name on it. Philip agrees with that. Listen, it's hard to disagree with that, mate. It is the way we're going at the moment. But yeah, look, it's going to be a difficult game tomorrow. It is going to be a really difficult game. They're a good side. They won the league comfortably last season, ultimately. Yes, they've not been in great form, and yes, they've been found out a couple of times this season, but they won the league comfortably, so I'm not underestimating them. I've seen awful Liverpool teams, absolutely awful Liverpool teams beat Everton, or I've seen awful Liverpool teams, manage to stop Everton from winning. So would I be surprised if we win tomorrow? No, because it's a Merseyside derby. Am I confident that we can win? Yes. Like I said, being alive for 22 years, supported Everton all my life from when I was literally couldn't even speak. I've never been this more confident going into a Merseyside derby. However, I've still got those horrible nerves. I've still got that reserved feeling, and I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, we'll batter them, we'll piss all over them, this, that, the other, because A, that's not how football works, and B, they're still a very, very good, dangerous side, Emma said in the comments before, when you back a beast up, a wounded animal is a dangerous animal, and they certainly are. Yes, okay, they're an animal that you could go and, see off as well, but we're playing a dangerous opposition tomorrow, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't go out and play our game. And I think that is the most important thing going into tomorrow's game, is we don't look at them and go, how can we accommodate them? We go out there and go, right, okay, bish, bash, bosh, play our normal footy and go out and win the game like we've won every other game this season. It's going to be a tough one. It's a Merseyside derby, but I'd be lying if I was to say I'm looking forward to it. I absolutely hate them, I can't lie, guys. But, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Wayne says, I'm nervous and excited about tomorrow. I haven't felt this way about a derby for years. I'm 45 now. There you go. Big Nod says, great show again, Cam. Thank you very much. Eric says, excited for the match tomorrow. Me too. A little bit. James says, a lot of respect on this channel. Well in, Cam. Thank you very much, mate. Wayne also says, welcome, Eric. Once a blue, always a blue. Spots on. Eric says, Colombia and USA, love your Hammers coverage. Thank you very much, mate. Hopefully, we'll have a load more coverage on Hammers tomorrow. Joel says, this is our best chance to beat them. It certainly is. Wayne says, defo, mate. Emma says, yeah, but I heard he was good for the national team. He kept that form up. Wayne says, have faith in Pickford, mate. He will have a boss game tomorrow, so I can feel it in my bones. I hope so. Eugene says, if Everton want to win the Premier League this season, they need to beat the champions. We do. Again, I'm not getting too carried away with myself, but, you're absolutely spot on. Chris says, not going to lie, I'm bloody nervous going into this game. From a Liverpool fan there. You should be, mate. But then again, so am I. A says there's only one reason we might lose, and that's Pickford. Well, hopefully he has a good game. He's due one, isn't he? Slim says, I'm a Villa fan, by the way, but loving seeing AFC doing so well. Our clubs are like bollocks, mate, and it's going in to right now. Hopefully it will continue. The bollocks, hopefully it can continue on this season. Agree, mate, spot on. Good to see you guys doing well as well. I think it's talking about Daniel says, Carlo said all are fit apart from long-term injuries. He certainly did. And yeah, hopefully we see a big, good, strong Everton team tomorrow and a big, strong win. Philip says, God, I feel sick now. Dugout says, let's get the channel to 3k. If you could hit that subscribe button, we are less than 50 away from 3,000. So if you could share the stream, get as many people involved as possible, it would mean a great deal to me. Chris says, good luck tomorrow. May the best team win. I can't wait for the game to be over and done with. There you go. Look, we're going to end it there. Big thanks to everybody for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you are new to the channel, then like I said, please do subscribe. If you're watching live, big thanks to everybody for watching live. Massive thanks to the Dugout and Herrera for the donations today. Really do appreciate that. Big thanks to everybody in the comments as well for getting involved, and anybody that's watching live. If you're watching the YouTube video, leave your thoughts in the comments of the video and I'll get involved with as many of them as possible. 12:30 kick-off tomorrow, so it's literally, I can't even do the maths, but it's less than, what, about 7 hours? No, it's not 7 hours, that's ridiculous maths. No, 12, 15, 16 hours, something like that. 16 hours. It's less than 24 hours away, put it that way. But yeah, listen, we'll have to see what happens, won't we? I'm confident going into it. I'm as confident as I can be anyway, and I think Everton need to be as confident as they can be. Of course, we'll have the instant match reaction out directly after the game, as well as the player ratings. We're going to have the weekly news roundup video up in a little bit, so look out for that one within the next hour. And then, of course, like I said, all of the post-game content tomorrow. Big thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. Philip says, up the fucking toffee. James says, thanks, Cam. Cheers, mate. Eugene says, see about the toffees and see you on Monday evening. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's go into it with confidence. Like I said, strip the derby situation away from the players and just say it's another game of footy against a team that have proven they can be beaten. Go out and do your jobs, and let's hope they can do that. Big thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.